Hi, and welcome to my third Dungeons & Dragons Newbie DM journal, where I talk about what it's like to learn how to DM. I hope that through this series, I can encourage some other people to try and pick up the game even if they haven't played before, and hopefully I can help some of them avoid some of the same pitfalls and mistakes that I've made. So, our third session, we finished. We played it this week, and it was an absolute blast. For those who aren't in the United States, Monday was Memorial Day, and we didn't have work. So we decided instead of our 3-hour session on Tuesday, we had a marathon 6-hour session on Monday, which was an absolute treat. Being able to play for that long uninterrupted was a lot of fun. We also added a fifth party member. A friend of mine rolled a paladin and joined the party. And it turns out when she got here, she went to church with one of the other party members and worked with the wife of another one. So I think she's gonna fit in just fine with us. So the theme for the session, as it were, was backtracking. Not literally stepping back, but kind of solving some of the problems that have arisen from our last two sessions. Based on the feedback I received from y'all, thank you so much for that. By the way, I was encouraged that we should take some time away from the book to build the party. Amongst our 5 party members, only one was involved in the original story hook to go to Phandalin and deliver these supplies and be a part of this story hook. And so we needed to take some time to build that party back to build the party together again. And so throughout the course of the week leading up to the session, I took some time to talk to each party member and told them, we talked to them and kind of I tried to ask them, how is your character going to get involved? What is going to hook your character into this setting? And we talked about it a little bit, and then when the day came on Monday afternoon, I started the session by just saying, "All right, guys, here's the thing." I laid the whole problem out that only one character has the hook for the original story, so we're gonna. I'm not gonna. I didn't want to take any agency away from them as players, but for the sake of the adventure, it might be smart for us to take some time to kind of have the party grow together, to meld together. And so to that end, if you watched the last video, the session ended with them beating a group of gang members and taking one prisoner. So at the start of this session, I brought back that cleric that I met up that helped them in that first battle, and had him encourage half the party to come into the temple, the temple to the local goddess. And the other half of the party was in a building talking to some NPCs, and I had the NPC say, "Hey, you look a little rough. You've been injured from the fight. Why don't you go to the temple? Because I know I think that they can probably help heal you or something like that." So I did kind of engineer a way to bring the party all together at the same place at the same time. But I think the party was okay. The players were okay with that because they understood that this is something that we would kind of need to do. So it wasn't the smoothest way to handle it possibly, but it worked, and I think we're all learning, and I think that luckily I have a very gracious group of players. So once they were in the temple, I had them talk to the cleric and talk to the priestess who runs the temple, and had them talk amongst themselves and talk to her and get on the same page. The barbarian talked to the party about where he came from and what he was doing, and kind of give the other players an opportunity to hook onto that. Say, hey, I care about what you're doing, or oh, I care about freeing this town from the gang. And so it gave all of them a reason to journey together. And once that had been decided, I had the NPCs tell them, all right, well, why don't you take some time, leave town for a couple days, let the heat die down from this this battle y'all just had, and it'll give you time to recover from your wounds, and you behind the scenes, in the out of character context, this would give the characters a chance to go on a side quest, learn how they fight together, learn how they role play together, and kind of get on the same page, develop some rapport with each other before they come back into town. And luckily, for those who have not played Lost Mine of Phandelver, it is chock full of a whole bunch of side quests that the players can tackle. But I was really excited that the monk actually suggested they go back to the ambush site in part 1 after hearing the barbarian's tale. And that was great because it would get them right back on the same track. They could actually go to that. They could go back and get right on the trail and kind of pick up right where the first party left off. Pardon me. So the party set off. There were a few options as far as lodging arrangements. As I said, they were kicked out of the inn last time. Speaking of which, y'all had a lot of suggestions for how to deal with that, and I realized that I can undo that because the character that everyone had a problem with was the sorcerer, and the sorcerer is now dead. No one had a problem with anyone else in the party, so once I get back into town, I will probably be able to easily kind of smooth that wrinkle out and have the party back in the inn to gain access to all those plot hooks again. And I think the NPCs will be a lot more talkative to them, with them, if they have freed the town from this gang of thugs. So there are a few different places they could have gone to to find lodging, and but they actually didn't go for any of those same hooks that I was expecting, but actually went and found a different NPC that they heard about who offers a side quest, and they went to find him, and they actually had a really clever way to roleplay. They bartered manual labor in exchange for lodging. I thought it was really clever, and it worked. And for them, they did it on purpose because for them, it was in the right direction geographically for them to get back where they were going. So they stayed the night, got their long rest, then spent a day of traveling, daytime activities, had a random encounter with some other goblins, and got to talk to one another. They got to do some rest activities. The fighter that the sorcerer's player rolled got to do some hunting. The new paladin got to try got to role play being just kind of having a connection to a deity, and it was a lot of fun. Just a real low pressure way for the party to start to grow. Stayed the night out in the woods on the road, and came back on the second day of travel. Came back to that ambush scene, and I actually re-rolled the exact same encounter. It was for a couple of reasons. One, in the story, this is kind of a choke point where the goblins ambush a lot of people, so it made sense for them to still be there. And secondly, behind the scenes, kind of from a meta perspective, it was a good way to give the players a chance to take another stab at it, to see how much better they did now that they had more numbers, they had a little more experience, a little more idea how the game was going to go, and that was a lot of fun. It went a lot better this time. So the session ended with the party going through the woods and finding the goblin hideout. So it'll be a great place to start next time. Our next session will actually have a true dungeon delve for the party to go through, which is really exciting. As far as lessons I learned this time, a lot of it was literally just responding to the mistakes I made in the previous session. Uh, First off, letting the players play in the sandbox. I didn't try and rush them this time. If they wanted to take a lot of time talking to the NPC and kind of schmoozing a roleplay experience, I let them. If they wanted to spend extra time picking apples in the orchard, I let them. If they wanted to walk around and have a little fun world building on their turn on patrol, I let them. And they it was a lot of fun just to slow down the pace a little bit and let them have fun, because that's really what it's all about. Uh, I did have a few new problems start to show themselves, though, that I'm curious about how I'm going to solve in the future. First off was encounter design. Now, this story is made for 4 to 5 players, and so we do have an appropriate number of characters. But I realized just how much easier all these fights were with 5 players instead of 3. And especially with our party makeup, uh, we have a barbarian, a fighter, a paladin, a monk, and a bard. So we've got a pretty beefy set of characters, and I'm worried that things might get a little easy. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to try and kill the party with every fight, but I don't want them to get bored either. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on an encounter modification, and how best to do that, because I don't know. I'm not great with the numbers. I'm not great with the system. So I'm worried if I start meddling with things, it's just going to get worse. So I would love to get your perspective on things. Secondly, just the social aspect of it. With 5 players, we can't spend as much time with each one. And there were a couple times where I noticed people, getting up to, and having conversations in the kitchen or something like that. And that's going to naturally happen when you're playing for 6 hours. People need to go to the bathroom. People need to get something to eat or drink, and that's fine. But it made me realize that there's going to come a point where people are spending 1/5 of a session with the spotlight on them, and I'm worried that I may not be giving people the level or amount of engagement or exposure that they're looking for. So I would love to hear back from y'all about how y'all have tackled that problem in the past. Uh, but other than that, I'm really looking forward to our session again. Just like last time, I reached out to each of the players and asked them what they thought. Did it feel too railroady? Did it feel too unstructured? Was there a good balance of combat and RP? And all of them told me they were having a really good time. So I'm really excited. I hope we're on the right track, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. So again, thank you so much for all your advice, all your help so far. It's made a tremendous difference in our party, and I really think that this has been a good first experience for everyone here. So y'all have a great day, and again, God bless. Bye.